Hello, this is Mr. Dubchuk, and I've been asked to show you a little bit about how I use math in video production. So let me show you a little bit here. This is a video I made over the summer, and take a look at the transition between scenes. There's a little transition animation here. Okay, did you see the colors flash across the screen? Let's see it one more time coming up. Here, watch these colors flash. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let me show you how I did that. Let's see. All right, there's a bunch of stuff on here. Let me collapse all these layers down. And so you can see here, as I scrub through this, you'll see each of the colors go across the screen individually. But what you should really notice is that they all accelerate as they go across the screen. So they all, as they go across the screen, they get faster. Okay? It's not, it's really fast. You have to be paying attention to see it, but they get faster as they go across the screen. Here, play it one more time. And you can see here as they go across, they get farther apart. Okay, so you see how far apart the green and the red are there versus right there. See how they're farther apart as they go? All right, that's because they're accelerating as they go across the screen. So here's what I needed to do, or what I needed to know in order to set that up. I'm going to pay attention to just the green layer here. I have here the position on the coordinate plane. So I need to know coordinate plane and I need to know graphs in order to get this to work. So this coordinate plane, I'm going to duplicate this layer so that I don't mess anything up here. This coordinate plane is showing me the X position. So this is across the screen is X and up and down is Y. And here I'm adjusting the X position of my green box. Okay. So I see that there. There's the X position of the green, and here is the Y position of the green. So again, and I'm going to show you here, the point of origin is in the upper left. So this is 0.00 right here. And then as I adjust it left and right, that's on the X-axis, and up and down, that is on the Y-axis. All right, I'm going to get rid of this keyframe here because I want it to go back to the way I had it. All right, where I'm paying attention to here is these two keyframes right here. Let me make it one step smaller. So I've got a little arrow here and a little arrow there. That means at this position, I want it to be at that coordinate. And here at this position, I want it to be at that coordinate. However, the rate that changes is called temporal interpolation. So that's just a fancy word for how fast it moves as it goes. I'm going to change these both to a linear interpolation here real quick. And you'll see how when I make it linear, it doesn't accelerate as it goes. It just slides across at one speed. So that's a linear interpolation. If I undo those changes, whoops, I come back to how I had it normally. That's a curved interpolation. So where I adjust that is when I come into the graph editor. So I'm going to click on my keyframe there. I'm going to come into my graph editor, and I've got this big graph right here. This graph shows me the speed that it's moving in pixels per second as it goes across the screen. And you can see that the speed that it's moving increases as it goes. All right, so let me play it here. Now, I could also make some changes to this. I could maybe start it fast and end it slow. You see how it kind of slid into its spot and slowed down as it went? This is more of a linear with a little bit of a curve there. But, oops, I want to bring my history back. Well, I'm going to have to not save my changes to this project so that I can get it back. But as you see, as my other layers go across, I kind of stack the layers on top of each other, and that creates this just really cool transition effect. All right, let me open up another project I've been working on. This is for a documentary I have been working on about the high school's production of the musical West Side Story. And I want to open with VLC. All right. One thing that you'll see here is right here. This thing right down here that says Melody Easter Clutter Director. That is, in the video production industry, we call that a lower third because it takes up the lower 1/3 of the screen. And in order to make this work, I had to do some programming because I use this lower third all over this documentary. My video editing software has this great feature where I can make the lower third once and reuse it over and over and over again. But there's a little bit of a problem when I try to do that. If I come to someone else here, notice how her name is a lot shorter. Okay, notice how her name is a lot shorter. So when I made her name shorter, I had to make this box shorter. Let me come to someone else here. We'll see Riff. Okay, his name also short, so the box had to be short. Let me come to someone else who's long. You'll see here. Okay, her name is long, so her box had to be longer. Now, if I were doing 2 or 3 of these, it would be easy to go and make a different lower third for everyone. But I've got probably 30 lower thirds that I'm using throughout this, and I don't want to have to make it for everyone. Or another thing is, what if I get finished with this documentary and I decide I want to change the design of the lower third? Then, if I've got 30 separate copies, I have to go through and change it on all of them, where if I just have one copy, one version that I've copied onto the rest of them, I can just change one. In order to do that, I have to program it. Where's my standard lower third? Here we go. In order to do that, I have to program it to change the width of the white box according to the width of the name that's in the white box. So, as I come onto this, you can see I've got 3 layers. I have my title layer, I have my name layer, and I have my white box. So, as I go to transform that, let's see here. This is the one I'm looking at here. All right, this is my programming for the width of the white box. And you'll see a couple things here. I set 4 variables right at the beginning. So 4 variables here: margin, text width, text height, title width. And when you take my computer science class, you will learn what a variable is. But then I have an if statement here, which also, if you take my computer science class, you'll learn what an if statement is. But what all of this programming is basically saying is, if the name line is longer than the title line, then make the white box 50 pixels larger than the name line. If the title line is bigger than the name line, then make the white box 50 pixels larger than the title line. If neither of these 2 lines is greater than 400 pixels across, then I need my white box to be at least 400 pixels across. So I've set those three up there in my programming, but what that allows me to do is make it so that I can make this lower third once, and I've programmed it so that the white box adjusts its size according to the name that's in the white box, and then I can use this lower third in my project as many times as you want. So there's just a couple examples of how I use the coordinate plane, graphs, and programming in video production.